5 scary ghost videos you won't believe. Lurking in the darkness. A channel out of Germany called Paranormal Mi, owned and run by a Turkish man named Ali Aslan, has been uploading creepy videos for just over 6 months now. Like many other people in the paranormal niche, Ali investigates or documents on camera older buildings that other people just wouldn't visit. Ali travels all across Germany and even Europe, recording videos hoping that one day he'll catch something paranormal or at least creepy on camera. In this upcoming video, he just may have done that. In January of this year, 2021, Ali went deep into the woods to document a building known in the local area as the Murderous House. Ali spends the best part of 45 minutes exploring the abandoned house with nothing more than his camera and flashlight. However, he doesn't appear to come up with anything in that time. That is until he exits the house.
La ilahe illallah Muhammedun Resulullah. Öz bir kelimet la ittamati min şerri ma halak. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilahe illallah. Nasıl bir şimşek çaktı arkadaşlar? Dışarı çıktığımı.
Ali takes a break from exploring around the rundown house to go outside for a breather, but as he does, he unknowingly records something just plain creepy. If you didn't notice it the first time round, here it is again.
Öz bir kelimet la ittamati min şerri ma halak. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Ali is unaware at the time, but as the lightning strikes, it lights up the sky just enough to reveal that someone or something was lurking just several feet away. Whoever or whatever this is appears to be hiding or at least keeping an eye on Ali as he wanders through the house. So, what could this be? Simply just a stranger creeping in the darkness, or could this actually be something paranormal? For all of this and everything else that happened that night during Ali's investigation of this so-called murderous house, you'll have to slide on over to his videos. Once again, his channel is called Paranormal Mi. Hearing voices. Uploaded to YouTube, an unknown person who goes by the username Anonymous1 has a dozen or so videos of in and around their own house. The videos gained the attention of many viewers about 6 months ago when they made the rounds on other channels. However, the original uploader has since disappeared, with no post or replies on their YouTube channel or even their now deleted Reddit account for months now. And basically, the dozen or so videos on the channel show what the homeowner thinks could be paranormal activity, caught on a couple of home security cameras. The short clips show anything from weird, unexplainable voices all the way to supposed shadow figures. This short 6-second home security clip shows what the homeowner thinks could be some type of apparition forming or manifesting itself as it comes out from the wall in the living room. However, it doesn't end there. In another video by the original poster, we hear what sounds like a phantom voice talking aloud. Let me know if you hear it the first time round. It almost sounds as if someone with a British accent says aloud, "Get out of this house." I'll play it again and let me know what you think. The original uploader appears to be American and doesn't sound anything like the voice you hear in this video.
If not, we ask that you please exit this building, this apartment.
So what could this be? Other short videos from the anonymous one YouTube user show even more unexplainable happenings in and around their house, including transparent orbs darting around them at night and, believe it or not, even more supernatural type voices coming as if out of nowhere. I suggest checking out their YouTube channel, if not their Reddit page, for all clips and information regarding this supposed haunting. If anyone is aware of their true name, let me know and I'll credit them down below. Unsolved Mysteries. Back in 1987, a show aired on TV called Unsolved Mysteries. It ran through the 1990s and into the early 2000s. The series used reenactments and interviews to retell the circumstances of, well, mysteries that are unsolved. Episodes covered crimes, tales of lost love, unexplained history, and even paranormal events and/or stories. Viewers back then were encouraged to provide any information that might solve the mystery. This was one TV show that was guaranteed to give me nightmares as a kid, and really the first program that got me into the paranormal niche. In the late 1990s, Bravo aired one particular episode of Unsolved Mysteries that was all about the paranormal. The hour-long episode told stories of ghosts from all around the world. This upcoming story in particular was from Greencastle, Indiana. This weird tale starts with two men named Guy Winters and Terry Lampert. For years, the guys heard rumors about a haunted mansion on the outskirts of town. The rumors were about a spirit of a woman who was said to roam the lane that led to the house. Intrigued by this, the two men decided to investigate the deserted house one night with their own cameras. Unaware of what awaits them, Guy and Terry go inside the old mansion.
Everything throwing shadows through the house, so it was pretty eerie. And basically, we took a series of pictures all through the house, the upstairs, downstairs, stairwells.
Terry claims that he then ventured back outside to take more photos.
I took a series of 3 pictures of an upstairs window. And after I took that series of pictures, I went around to the back of the home and I took a picture of the doorway.
Still in the house, Guy continues his investigation. But suddenly, he feels that he is no longer alone.
I felt this presence come over me, and the smell was like sulfur and roses. Real strong smell.
You hear that? Heartbeat.
Pump, 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 pump. And this heartbeat was in my head, but it wasn't my own heartbeat. I really felt like I was dying. This feeling of anxiety was just overwhelming. And I was afraid I wasn't going to make it out of there.
Guy and Terry run from the house, afraid to stop until they reach the safety of their van. However, this ghost story is far from over.
When Terry develops the film from his still camera, he's shocked by what he sees. 3 consecutive pictures of what appears to be a woman glowing in a pink light, floating in the second-story window. Another pink shape is captured at the back door.
Pretty much it blew me away, I have to say. I've never seen anything like that on film.
Could this be the ghost of Greencastle, or merely a photographic abnormality? To find out, Guy and Terry showed the pictures to their friend, photo expert Mick Ewelme.
What is in the picture came from the negatives. It's very interesting and a little unnerving.
Next, these mysterious images were analysed by a now very old computer and graphics expert named Sean Dempsey. It's during Sean's then high-tech examination that the photograph reveals yet another secret.
And then I tried something called bas relief, which basically takes the light and dark parts of the picture and emphasizes them. And I got the creepiest thing from this one photo. Her face, and I don't know how else to describe it, but that to me just looks like a skull. I've got to be honest, it's either a real photo of a ghost or it was done with a photographic technique that I don't know about.
With the then experts at a loss for answers, the two men, Guy and Terry, had their own theory. They both now believe that they photographed a real ghost. But if that were true, then whose spirit is it? Guy believes that the Pink Lady was a woman who lived and died here in the house in the early 20th century. Her name? Irene O'Hare, the same name that the two men found scratched onto one of the bedroom walls. Guy and Terry made more trips to the mansion, but the so-called ghost of Greencastle never reappeared. However, the men captured two other images that were just as difficult to explain.
The first is this photograph of what appears to be a woman in a flowing gown. Due to her intense colour, she is known as the Gold Ghost. The second strange event occurs while Guy takes pictures of the mansion. Suddenly, three cloud-like shapes fly by. Is this merely fog or some type of mist? If so, it would need a strong breeze to travel this fast, but Guy's clothes and hair never move, indicating that no wind is blowing. Unfortunately, these and other questions may never be answered, because the mansion was destroyed to make way for this cornfield. But the memories of the Greencastle mansion live on with Guy and Terry, who may have done the unthinkable. Captured images of visitors from the other side.
Pictures of the Pink Lady have made the rounds online for years now. However, I've never seen the story behind it until now. Remember, this is from the 1990s when computers looked like microwaves. So, could this entire story be something that the two men made up in their free time all those years ago? Or could this potentially be one of those very rare photographs that show a real ghost? You'll have to decide that for yourself. For anyone interested in the full episode of Unsolved Mysteries, I'll link it down below. Ewelme Cottage and Kinder House. Over the last few months since I started this channel, I have revisited episodes of a TV program that aired in New Zealand back in 2005. The show Ghost Hunt used to air late at night and would give anyone who watched it the chills. The TV program saw three ghost hunters, Michael Hollows, Brad Hills and Caroline Taylor, travel the length of New Zealand investigating the supposed most haunted places in the country. This being the 10th and final episode, we take one last look through what the team of ghost hunters found on their very last night investigating. In Auckland, New Zealand's biggest city, lies two historic houses on the same street in the suburb of Parnell. The two homes are named Kinder House and Ewelme Cottage, and are known in the city by some for their potential hauntings. The first, Kinder House, sometimes known as the Headmaster's House, was built in 1857. The house is a Gothic-styled double-story mansion built of grey volcanic stone quarried from nearby Mount Eden. The house was the residence of the London-born John Kinder, a teacher, painter, photographer and reverend of the Church of England Grammar School in Parnell. He occupied the house with his wife and the 6 children of his brother Henry Kinder, who was actually murdered by John's sister-in-law and her lover. Years later, the house was opened to the public as a gallery in 1982. The house is also used today for wedding receptions and other functions. However, the house is claimed to be haunted by the apparition of a man, perhaps John Kinder himself, his brother, or maybe even something more sinister. Before the team of ghost hunters started their investigation that night, Caroline Taylor talked to a man named John Webster, a curator, who told her some spooky stories about the house from many years ago. While Michael Hollows chats to a clairvoyant named Justine about the impressions she gets upon entering the Kinder House.
So John, tell me about Kinder House.
On the opening day, I saw what I could normally say was a dark shadow going up the steps inside the house after the opening ceremony. The next occasion, the caretakers had seen people going up the stairs, or a person. The caretaker knew a little bit about the family and concluded that it was obviously the ghost of the Reverend John Kinder's brother.
Now, Justine, being clairvoyant, did you get a strong impression from this place before you arrived here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I did. I saw quite a lot of imagery, characters
that sort of thing. I felt that there was a man who was potentially involved with a bank or as a banker.
Henry was the brother of the Reverend John Kinder. Henry had an unfortunate life. He went to Australia with his wife.
And there was some tragedy involved. I also felt that there was a poisoning, that he was involved in a poisoning, in fact, a victim of poisoning, and could hear gunfire. I got the impression of an affair.
Soon after arriving in Sydney, he was found in the harbour. He was poisoned and shot in Sydney, and subsequent to that his wife was arrested along with a local dentist, and they were put up for his murder.
Were they having an affair?
Naturally. And with his murder, it sort of supposes that it's the genesis of something that might be ghostly.
The second house the team investigated that night is called Ewelme Cottage and is about 5 or 6 houses down the road from the Kinder house and is also said to be haunted. And just like the previous house, Caroline gets a quick run-through on the house, as does Michael with Justine the clairvoyant.
Mr. and Mrs. Lush came out here to New Zealand in 1850 with 4 children. Scarlet fever hit the country. 3 of the children died in a matter of 9 days.
I could hear crying and a sensation of, just hopelessness, and I heard her say to me she was all alone.
Well, I've personally seen females, and I've seen the things that have opened, like the cupboard doors and things, but what I haven't seen is the one that has been seen the most, and this is a young girl, supposedly with ringlets in her hair, wearing a white dress and a sash, and the latest sightings of that were from 2 children upstairs. The little girl that saw her was quite distraught and said, "I want to go back, I want to play with her."
Yeah, she feels like she just wants to play.
The noises were one of the few things I've heard at night time. They were in the passageway under the main light. It appeared to be 2 distinct tones of voice, and it was almost as though a conversation were going on. It was sort of suspended in mid-air.
After having heard some stories from someone who knew the houses so well and getting some insight from a clairvoyant, the team jump to it and throw on their equipment and head into the houses. Brad, the team leader, sends Michael into Ewelme Cottage and sends Carolyn down the road to Kinder House. This is what they come up with just hours later, earlier in the morning, when they all meet back up in the team's vehicle to analyse what they've just found.
Well, team, that was an interesting stormy evening in Auckland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Set the mood, didn't it?
It did, and there was some really bizarre stuff that went on last night. Michael, talk to me about your experience upstairs.
Really strange feeling, like all around me, and I actually sat on my haunches because I felt that that was what the person who'd been in that room had been doing.
I'm going to play you down some footage. This is what happened when you were in there on your own.
This is where I walked in here earlier with Justine and got quite a strong feeling in here. It's just a very stifling feeling.
Now, the next shot is you actually sitting down.
Yeah.
And you get a scare when you're in there. Now, that's what I saw.
Oh. Oh, whoa. Ah. Ooh, ah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just got a real shiver down my back, Brad. Just, like, totally cold and shivering and like something's in the room. It was like something went over me, a crashing wave, a cold energy that went all over me.
Yeah. So, I mean, definitely you felt a presence there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, EVP, or electronic voice phenomena, basically what it does is it picks up supposed voices from the beyond. And the theory is that these voices talk to us all the time. It's just at a level that we can't hear it. And what I basically did was just recorded throughout the night at a very high level. So it picks up all of that low-level, high-frequency stuff that just occurs around us all the time, that white noise. And I'll show you what we ended up coming up with.
It sounds like little kids.
A little girl.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a child's voice.
Did you actually make out any words?
No, I couldn't get
I
any
couldn't
words.
hear the words. It sounded almost, right at the beginning like crying, and then it sounded like sort of...
Right.
I'll play you down this little section again, and we'll see what you make of it. What did you hear?
Oh, I don't know. I might be just been imagining it, and I'll be make a dick of it. It's like
I've been sitting here all night making a dick of myself, trying to work out what it was. So
What did you hear?
I'd like to hear
I'm
someone
hearing
else's.
things now. Like something like "go away."
I heard "go away" as well.
Oh, I need a hearing aid.
I heard "go away."
And you know what's
I was
really-
being nice.
No. You know what's really weird?
Yeah.
Is that the timeline that occurred and that these started to appear was when you were upstairs and you felt all of that, and you were talking to the little girl in the room.
After hearing what sounded like the words, "please, go away," from an unknown source, the team more or less get the chills, and are somewhat surprised at what they hear. However, they move on because there was just one more creepy thing that Caroline unknowingly captured on camera while she was down at the kinder house.
You had a moment as well, didn't you?
I always have moments,
You
Fred.
didn't want to look under the floor.
Well, who would? I mean, seriously, even during the day, no one wants to go under a house, let alone one that's allegedly haunted. I mean, come on.
It seemed to me like you felt something when you were in there. Well, this is the photograph that you took underneath the floorboards, which is really, there's nothing much there. There's just a little bit of a blur. But then the thing was, and it occurred to me, was that you took the photograph upside down. So I turned it up the right way, and then just doing the normal, bring out the brightness and the contrast.
What
A little face.
the?
That's just weird.
That is weird. And these as
What
well.
are they?
What do you make of those?
It shouldn't be shadows because you didn't use the flash, so...
No.
That's definitely a face, though.
Yeah. You can see the eyes and nose.
Yes. No wonder you didn't want to take a photograph underneath. That's as clear as it's going to get,
Right.
considering it was such a dark shot to begin with. So that's the best that we're going to be able to bring out any features that are in it.
Wow.
Lucky you didn't go down.
I was just going to say, how strange. It almost looks like someone, like a little person crouching in the corner under the house.
Everything that came out of last night was quite amazing.
Yeah.
It's really opened my eyes. I think it was due to you actually calling out to the ghost and talking to the ghost that the spirit decided to manifest itself in whatever way it did.
Yeah.
Unaware at the time, Caroline captures on camera some type of weird, dark, shadow-like figure with what appears to be a small white face underneath the house floorboards. Could this, or the voices heard in the first house, be evidence of the paranormal, potentially something from the other side? Or could all of this be nothing more than a team of 3 ghost hunters clutching at straws for something supernatural on what was their very last episode? Who knows? What do you think about this episode in particular? Was it as creepy as previous episodes? Let me know. Link for the full episode is of course in the description down below. If you or someone you know has taken a creepy video or photo and you think it's scary enough to be in a future video, send it to submit.shadowman@gmail.com and you may just see it in an upcoming video.